Imagine a place where a handful of farmers in snow-covered living rooms or school gymnasiums can derail a multi-million-dollar presidential campaign before most Americans have even sipped their morning coffee. A state with just 6 electoral votes that has launched or destroyed more White House dreams than any other patch of ground in America, where the fate of the free world's leadership often begins not in grand arenas or media studios, but in cornfields and church basements. This is Iowa, the Hawkeye state, the quiet kingmaker tucked in America's heartland. For over 50 years, its first-in-the-nation caucuses have decided which candidates get to run for president and which ones go home. But how did a modest Midwestern state seize this extraordinary power, and why does it still hold the keys to the White House in an era of billion-dollar campaigns and social media? Stick around. You're about to discover how Iowa doesn't just vote in America's elections, it decides them. Long before it became political ground zero, Iowa was a land of breathtaking fertility. 10,000 years of glaciers had left behind some of the richest topsoil on Earth, black, deep, and endless. Native peoples, the Iowa, Sauk, Meskwaki, and others, thrived here, building complex societies, hunting buffalo, and cultivating corn along the rivers. They called this place home for millennia. European eyes first glimpsed it in 1673 when French explorers Father Jacques Marquette and Louis Joliet paddled down the Mississippi. Fur traders followed, but real change came after the Louisiana Purchase in 1803. The land opened. Then came the Black Hawk War of 1832, a tragic, bloody clash. Sauk leader Black Hawk led his people back across the Mississippi to reclaim ancestral lands in Illinois and Iowa. U.S. forces, state militias, and even future presidents like Abraham Lincoln and Zachary Taylor mobilized. The war ended in defeat for Black Hawk's band, paving the way for massive land cessions. Thousands of square miles opened to white settlement. By the 1830s, settlers streamed in: New England Yankees, Germans, Scandinavians, Irish, drawn by cheap fertile land. Iowa Territory formed in 1838. On December 28, 1846, Iowa became the 29th state. Its constitution banned slavery, a bold stand in a divided nation. Farmers turned prairie into paradise. Railroads crisscrossed the land. Corn, hogs, and wheat poured out. Iowa wasn't flashy, but it was becoming the breadbasket of a growing republic. Its people, practical, independent, community-minded, were laying the foundation for something far bigger than agriculture. The Civil War tested Iowa's soul. The state sent nearly 80,000 men to fight for the Union, more per capita than almost any other. They fought at Shiloh, Vicksburg, and Gettysburg. Iowa's 1st Iowa Infantry saw early action. Back home, women and children kept farms running. The war accelerated mechanization and solidified Iowa's identity as a fiercely loyal, abolitionist-leaning state. Post-war Iowa boomed. The Homestead Act brought more settlers. By 1900, Iowa was one of the wealthiest states per capita in America. Its farms fed the industrial Northeast and the growing cities. But prosperity brought new challenges: railroad monopolies squeezing farmers, volatile prices, soil erosion. The populist movement and progressive era found strong voices here. Iowa farmers became politically engaged, demanding reforms. Cooperatives formed. Education thrived. The University of Iowa and Iowa State emerged as centers of learning and agricultural innovation. Yet for all its growth, Iowa remained a quiet player on the national stage until a perfect storm in the late 1960s changed everything. America was tearing itself apart. Vietnam, assassinations, riots at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, the old party boss system that handed Hubert Humphrey the nomination without winning a single primary felt broken. Democrats nationwide demanded reform, more openness, more grassroots participation. In Iowa, party leaders took those reforms seriously. Their caucus process was complex: precinct meetings, county conventions, district conventions, state convention. It required months. To comply with new national rules requiring spacing between events, Iowa Democrats scheduled their first precinct caucuses for January 24, 1972, earlier than anyone else. The Republicans soon followed. What began as a scheduling quirk became destiny. Suddenly, the eyes of the nation turned to Des Moines. In 1972, George McGovern's strong showing in Iowa helped propel him toward the nomination. Then came 1976. A little-known Georgia peanut farmer named Jimmy Carter poured time into Iowa. He shook hands in living rooms, ate pork chops at the state fair, listened to farmers. Carter won. He went on to the White House. Iowa had proven it could launch unknowns into legends. The caucuses were now must-win theater. Candidates who ignored Iowa did so at their peril. The Hawkeye state had seized the microphone, and the nation couldn't look away. From that moment, Iowa became the ultimate political proving ground. Its voters are retail politicians, dream, informed, engaged, and willing to meet candidates face-to-face in small settings. No soundbites, real conversations about farm policy, trade, ethanol, healthcare, education. The list of moments is legendary. In 1980, George H.W. Bush's Big Mo after Iowa propelled him forward. Pat Robertson's 1988 surprise, Tom Harkin's home state run. In 2008, Barack Obama's victory over Hillary Clinton in Iowa electrified the country and reshaped the Democratic race. On the Republican side, Rick Santorum's 2012 knee upset, Ted Cruz in 2016, and beyond. Even candidates who lose Iowa but exceed expectations, like Bill Clinton's comeback kid narrative in New Hampshire, owe part of their story to surviving the Iowa filter. Why does it work? Iowa's demographics matter. It's mostly rural, overwhelmingly white, heavily agricultural, once a mirror of broader Midwestern values, though the nation has diversified faster. Critics argue it's unrepresentative. Defenders say its process rewards organization, retail politics, and authenticity over money alone. You can't just buy Iowa, you have to earn it by showing up in January snowstorms. That grind tests candidates like no other. And because it's first, media attention amplifies every handshake, every gaffe, every barnstorm. Momentum from Iowa can make or break campaigns before Super Tuesday even arrives. Economically, Iowa transformed too. From diversified family farms to industrial-scale agriculture, corn, soybeans, pork, ethanol. Agribusiness giants like Pioneer, John Deere influence, and meatpackers dominate. Trade wars, subsidies, and global markets became presidential battlegrounds fought first on Iowa soil. The state's economic interests, rural broadband, crop insurance, renewable fuels, shape national platforms. Today, Iowa remains the launchpad every 4 years. The political universe descends. Candidates, consultants, reporters, ad dollars. Small towns host town halls that feel like national debates. The Iowa State Fair's pork chop stand becomes campaign central. Its influence extends beyond the caucuses. Iowa's 6 electoral votes have been pivotal in close general elections, 2000, 2016, and others. Swing tendencies in recent cycles keep both parties fighting hard. Politically, it produces leaders who punch above their weight, senators, governors, and voices on agriculture and trade policy. Culturally, its strong work ethic, education system, and community values continue to inform American self-image. Yet challenges loom: declining rural populations, farm consolidation, questions about whether a predominantly white, rural state should retain its outsized early role in an increasingly diverse nation. Democrats have debated shifting the calendar, Republicans fiercely defend it. But for now, Iowa's tradition holds. Candidates still trek to places like Sioux City, Cedar Rapids, and tiny precincts because the reward is enormous, the first real verdict from real voters. So why does Iowa decide America's elections? Because in a massive, chaotic democracy, someone has to go first. And Iowa earned that right through reform, timing, and tenacity. It forces candidates to listen to heartland voices on food, family, faith, and future before they chase coastal donors or national headlines. It reminds us that power in America can still flow from the grassroots, from neighbors gathering on a cold winter night to debate who should lead the free world. Iowa doesn't have Hollywood glamour or Wall Street money. It has something rarer: the soil, the stories, and the stubborn belief that ordinary people in ordinary places can shape history. In an age of division and spectacle, the Hawkeye state stands as proof that the Republic's heartbeat can still be heard in a cornfield town hall. The caucuses will come again. Candidates will arrive. And once more, a handful of Iowans will help choose the path for 330 million Americans. That is the quiet power of Iowa, the state that doesn't just vote, it decides. And as long as the first snow falls and neighbors gather, that North Star of American politics will keep shining. The question is, who will it illuminate next?